Good morning students. Welcome to science class. Today we are going to see 6th lesson Health and Hygiene part 3. Students, listen carefully to this session. It's time to revise our previous session portion. Let's see definition of health. As defined by World Health Organization, health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Tell me, what is hygiene? Hygiene refers to conditions and practices that help to maintain health and prevent the spread of diseases. Next, we have seen homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Health is a dynamic condition resulting from your body's constant adjustment and adaptation in response to stresses and changes in the environment for maintaining an inner equilibrium called homeostasis. Example, equilibrium of human body temperature and water level. In last class, we have learnt about components of food. What is components of food? The chemical constituents of food which give us energy, help to build our body and protect us from diseases are called nutrients. The major components of food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and water. Next, we have studied about sources of nutrients and their functions. Carbohydrates are also called as energy-giving food. Rice, potato, wheat and sugar are the sources of carbohydrates. It provides energy. Fats are also called as energy-giving food. Butter, ghee, milk and cheese are the sources of fats. It gives more energy compared to carbohydrates. Vitamins and minerals are also called as protective food. Fruits and vegetables are the sources of vitamins and minerals. It required for normal growth and development. Proteins are also called as bodybuilding food. Milk, eggs, meat, fish and soya bean are the sources of proteins. It helps in building and repair of body. Last food component is water. Our body needs an adequate supply of water in order to maintain good health. Any human being should take minimum 8 tumblers of water every day. To know more details about components of food, see the link in below. Now tell me, what is health? Health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of diseases. Eating a healthy diet keeps you physically and mentally fit. So what is balanced diet? A diet should contain adequate amount of all the necessary nutrients required for healthy growth and activity. This is food pyramid and divided into 4 groups. At bottom, grains and rice should take more amount. Then above, vegetables and fruits should take twice a day. Then third, milk, meat and alternatives should take moderately. At top, fat, oil, salt and sugar should take small quantity. The next, benefits of balanced diet. If we follow balanced diet means an increased capacity to work, good physical and mental health, increased capacity to resist diseases, help in proper growth of the body. To know more details about balanced diet, see the link in below. Tell me, what is malnutrition? Malnutrition occurs when all the nutrients that the body needs are not obtained in the proper proportions from the diet. Malnutrition occurs when all the nutrients that the body needs are not obtained in the proper proportions from the diet. Malnutrition leads to deficiency disease. The diseases that are caused due to lack of nutrients in the diet are called deficiency diseases. Already I have told about protein and mineral deficiency. First one, protein deficiency diseases. Kwashiorkor and marasmus are the protein deficiency diseases. Kwashiorkor children has the symptoms are stunted growth, swelling of face and limbs, diarrhea. Marasmus children has the symptoms are skinny appearances, slow body growth. Second one, mineral deficiency diseases. Calcium deficiency causes rickets. Phosphorus deficiency causes osteomalacia. Iodine deficiency causes cretinism in child, goiter in adult. Iron deficiency causes anemia. To know more details about malnutrition, see the link in below. Next, physical exercise. Physical exercise is to do any bodily activity that enhance or maintain physical fitness and overall health and wellness. Last one, rest. Proper amount of rest is essential for physical and mental health. Rest is as important as nutrition and physical activity for growth and development and good health. Okay students, let's start today's session. In this session, we are going to learn about personal cleanliness, introduction of microbes, bacterial diseases and viral diseases. So above these topics covered into book page number 102 to 104. I hope you are ready to note down important points into notebook. If you are having any doubt, note the questions in notebook and it will clarified on reopening day. Today in our world, hygiene is very important. Hygiene and cleaning is important to get rid of coronavirus to us. Let's see personal cleanliness. Hygiene is a set of practices performed to preserve health. According to the World Health Organization, hygiene refers to conditions and practices that help to maintain health and prevent the spread of diseases. Personal hygiene involves those practices performed by an individual to care for one's bodily health and well-being through cleanliness. It includes personal habit choices of bath, washing hands, brushing teeth, fingernails and changing cloth. So hygiene is a set of practices performed to preserve health. According to the World Health Organization, hygiene refers to conditions and practices that help to maintain health and prevent the spread of diseases. Now we are going to learn about how to prepare homemade ORS solution. Yes, oral rehydration solution. If someone suffered by vomiting, sweating or loose motions, result in loss of water and cause salt imbalance of body. This can be prevented by consuming ORS at short intervals. Let's see the preparation of ORS. Take a jug and pour 4 cups of drinking water. Second step, add half small spoon of salt. Third step, mix 6 small spoon of sugar. Last step, mix it thoroughly. Yes, this solution is called ORS, oral rehydration solution. Shall we see some hygiene tips for preventing the spread of infectious diseases? First one, eye hygiene. For eye, daily every morning and whenever the face is dirty, we should wash. Second one, hair hygiene. Should take care of hair by weekly twice, preferably once every other day. Third one, body hygiene. Should take care of body by once or twice a day. Fourth one, oral hygiene. Oral hygiene done by brushing twice a day and rinsing after each meal of mouth. Fifth one, feet hygiene. Feet hygiene done by washing every day. Sixth one, hand hygiene. Hand hygiene done by washing hands every time after touching contaminated surfaces. Moreover, hand wash is before eating and touching clean surfaces. Last one, clothes hygiene. Clothes hygiene done by changing it by once or twice a day. To know more details about personal cleanliness, see the link in below. Now we are going to study about microbes, that is small living things. When you neglect personal hygiene, you are increasing the risk of falling sick. Let us name some of the diseases or conditions caused by microorganisms due to the negligence of personal hygiene. Diarrhea, tooth decay, athlete's foot, that is Madurai's foot, and dandruff. So diarrhea, tooth decay, athlete's foot and dandruff are the diseases caused by microorganism. Microbes can be seen with the help of a microscope. Microbes can be seen with the help of a microscope. Most of the microbes belong to four major groups. First one bacteria, second one virus, third one protozoa, fourth one fungi. Most of the microbes belong to four major groups: bacteria, virus, protozoa and fungi. Shall we see bacteria? It is one of the microbes. Bacteria are very small prokaryotic microorganisms. Bacterial cells do not have nucleus and do not usually have membrane-bound organelles. Bacteria can exist either as independent organisms or as parasites. They invade tissues. Here invade means to spread over. They produce pus or harmful waste. Once again I repeat, bacteria are very small prokaryotic microorganisms. Bacterial cells do not have nucleus and do not usually have membrane-bound organelles. Bacteria can exist either as independent organisms or as parasites. They invade tissues. They produce pus or harmful waste. Let's see some bacterial diseases. Cholera transmitted by contaminated water. Pneumonia transmitted by inhalation of airborne droplets from a sneeze or cough. Tetanus transmitted by contamination of wounds with the bacteria. Tuberculosis, that is TB, transmitted by inhalation of airborne droplets from a sneeze or cough. Typhoid transmitted by contaminated food or water. So cholera, pneumonia, tetanus, tuberculosis and typhoid are the bacterial diseases. Do you know, students? Disease is a definite pathological process having a characteristic set of signs and symptoms. Disease is a definite pathological process having a characteristic set of signs and symptoms. Disorder is an derangement or abnormality of function. Disorder is a derangement or abnormality of function. Now we will see about virus. It is also one of the microbes. Virus is an acellular agent that replicates only inside the cells of other living organisms. Virus is an acellular agent that replicates only inside the cells of other living organisms. Virus can infect all types of life forms, plant, animals and microorganisms. They invade living normal cells and use their cell machinery to multiply. They can kill, damage or change the cells and make you sick. They can kill, damage or change the cells and make you sick. Let's see some viral diseases. Common cold, influenza, hepatitis, polio, smallpox, chickenpox, measles are the diseases caused by virus. This is structure of virus. Are viruses living or non-living? Biologists consider viruses to be non-living because they are not cells. They do not grow or respond to their surroundings. They cannot make food, take in food or produce waste. Viruses do not respond to stimuli. They can only multiply if in another living cell. They can only multiply if in another living cell. So viruses to be non-living. To know more details about microbes, see the link in below. Do you know, students, microscopes help to study the structure of the microorganisms. Microscopes help to study the structure of the microorganisms. This is general information you should know. Vaccines used to prevent bacterial diseases. For diphtheria disease, purified diphtheria toxoid vaccine is used. For meningococcal meningitis disease, purified polysaccharide from Neisseria meningitis vaccine is used. For pertussis disease, that is whooping cough, killed whole or acellular fragments of Bordetella pertussis vaccine is used. For pneumococcal pneumonia disease, purified polysaccharide from 7 strains of Streptococcus pneumoniae or conjugated vaccine is used. For tetanus disease, purified tetanus toxoid vaccine is used. For Haemophilus influenzae type B meningitis disease, polysaccharide from Haemophilus influenzae type B conjugated with protein to enhance effectiveness vaccine is used. Vaccines used to prevent viral diseases also. For rabies disease, killed virus vaccine is used. For hepatitis B, antigenic fragment of virus vaccine is used. For hepatitis A, inactivated virus vaccine is used. For smallpox, live vaccinia virus vaccine is used. For herpes zoster, attenuated virus vaccine is used. For human papillomavirus, antigenic fragments of virus vaccine is used. Okay students, I hope you are all understood about microbes and personal cleanliness. Now let's see some textbook pages related to today's topics. Page number 102 explains personal cleanliness. That is, hygiene is a set of practices performed to preserve health. Personal hygiene involves those practices performed by an individual to care for one's bodily health and well-being through cleanliness. Page number 103 explains about microbes and bacterial diseases. Bacteria are very small prokaryotic microorganisms. Cholera, pneumonia, tetanus, tuberculosis, typhoid are bacterial diseases. Page number 104 explains about viral diseases. Common cold, hepatitis, smallpox, measles, influenza, polio, chickenpox are the viral diseases. Okay students, I hope you are all clear with today's session. It's time for evaluation. Be ready students. Answer the following questions. What is the main feature of a microorganism? What is the main feature of a microorganism? Write any two viral diseases. Write any two viral diseases. Define disease. Define disease. How are the following bacterial diseases transmitted? First one cholera, second one tetanus, third one typhoid, fourth one tuberculosis. Last question. Name the 4 major groups of microbes. Name the 4 major groups of microbes. Okay students, 7th lesson Introduction to Computers will start in next session. Thank you.